Good morning, children. Today we are going to do the last chapter of English reader Lord Ullin's daughter. After this chapter, our syllabus of English will be completed. So let's start with the chapter Lord Ullin's daughter. This is a story of Ullin's daughter and chieftain of Ulva. So let's begin. A chieftain to the highland bound cries, boatman, do not tarry, and I'll give thee a silver pound to row us over the ferry. Here, Lord Ulva, Ulva, who is the chieftain of the Highland means mountains of Scotland, he asks the boatman to not to delay and row them with their boat, and in exchange he will give him a silver pound. He Moving on to the next page. Now who be ye would cross Lost Child. Lost Child is the name of the sea which they wanted to cross with the help of the boatmen. This dark and stormy weather, oh, I am the chief of Ulva's Isle, and this Lord Ullin's daughter. So now the boatman asked the chieftain that who are you and why you wanted to cross the sea in such a dark and stormy weather. So Ulva, the chieftain of Ulva, introduces himself as that I am the chief of Ulva's Isle. Isle means island, and this Lord Ullin's daughter, and this is Ullin's daughter. She is introducing her as Lord Ullin's daughter. And fast before her father meant 3 days we have fled together, for should he find us in the glen, my blood would stain the heather. And now he narrates his story to the boatman. The chieftain told the boatman that they had been fleeing together for 3 days from place to place, and Lord Ullin and his armed horsemen were behind them. His horsemen hard behind us right, should they our steps discover, then who will cheer my bonny bride? Bonny here means lovely and pretty. When they have slain her lover. Now he says that Lord Ullin and his armed horsemen were behind them, and if they found them in the narrow valley, they would kill them at once. The chieftain asked the boatman not to delay and promised to give him a silver pound as a reward. Okay. Out spoke the hardy Highland wait. I'll go, my chief, I'm ready. It is not for your silver bride, but for your winsome lady. So valiant boatman also promised that he would row them over the ferry, not in the hope of getting a silver pound, but for his extremely beautiful bride. And by my bird, the bonny bird, in danger shall not tarry. So through the waves I dragging white, I'll row you over the ferry. And he promises, and by my word means I'm promising you that in this danger I'll not delay. I'll take your lovely bony bird means here Ullin's daughter. So he says that I'm going to help you, and uh, though the waves are raging wide means they are angry, the waves are very high, and I'll row you over the ferry. And he promises that he will row them over their ferry with the help of the boat. By this the storm grew loud apace, the water wraith was shrieking, and in the scowl of the heavy each face grew dark as they were speaking. So now the storm had grown more fierce. Apace means quickly, more fierce, and the stormy water was threatening like a ghost. So there was a sound, the shrieking sound, the shouting sound was coming through the water, and it seems that there is some ghost in the sea which is screaming in such a loud voice. Lord, uh, okay, and the stormy water was threatening like a ghost, and the heaven was Scowling. Scowling means the heaven is giving an angry look. But still, because there is a thunder and storm, the climate and the weather was as there was a thunder and storm in the sky. But still, as wilder blew the wind, and as the night grew dearer, down the glen rode armed men. Their trampling sounded nearer. The beautiful lady heard the stranging of the stamping of the horses. Whose horses? Lord Ullin's horses, because they were behind them. They were in search of them. So Lord Ullin and his men were quite near. "Oh, haste thee, haste," the lady cries, "though tempests round us gather. I'll meet the raging of the skies, but not an angry father." She cried to make the haste, as she didn't want to face her angry father. Haste means to hurry up. See, she asked the boatman to hurry up because she do not want to face her angry father. Rather, she wanted to meet or wanted to face the angry skies, but she cannot face her angry father. Lord Ellen okay. The boat has left a stormy land, a stormy sea before her. When oh too strong for human hand, the tempest gathered over her. So the boat was left the land, and they now faced a stormy sea. There was a stormy sea before them, and it was hard for the boatmen. Human hand here means the boatmen, and it was very difficult for a boatman, being a human hand, to fight with such huge and fearful waves of the sea. So the tempest gathered over her, and now gathered over her means the violent storm surrounded and overpowered them. And still they rode amidst the roar of waters fast prevailing. Lord Ullin reached that fatal shore, his wrath was changing to wailing. Now, still, they were rowing in the middle of the sea. They didn't stop. So what? The weather is not good. The sea is having such huge waves, but still they rode into the middle of this roar. Roar means the sea. Or waters fast prevailing. The water was also conquering them, conquering with their boats. So Lord Ullin reached that fatal shore, and at that time Lord Ullin reached that fatal shore. Fatal here means the deadly shore. His wrath was changed to wailing. Now his wrath means his anger, now changed to wailing. Wailing means crying. Okay, because he was sad. Why he was sad? Because he could see that his daughter is surrounded by such huge and fearful waves. For sore dismayed through storm and shade, his child he did discover. One lovely hand she stretched for aid, and one round her lover. Lord Ullin reached the fatal shore. He found his daughter stretching one arm for help and the other around her lover. Come back, he cried in grief across the stormy water, and I'll forgive your Highland chief, my daughter, oh my daughter. Now, because when he saw that his daughter is about to drown in the sea, she is surrounded by these sea waves. So he promises her that Lord Ullin answers to forgive them. But it was too late. Lord Ullin's wrath was changed into wailing. He saw his beautiful daughter lying dead before his own eyes. It was vain the loud waves lashed the shore, return or aid preventing. The waters wild went over the child, and he was left lamenting. Now he can see that it was futile. Vain means futile. Futile means useless. Now when he shouting and wanted to help his daughter, it was a useless attempt because they are so much surrounded by the storm and the tempest and the sea waves that nothing could be done for them. They cannot return also, and there could be no help provided to them also. And the waters wild went over the child, and he can see that his daughter is now dead because it was all over because there was a wild water all over the child here is the Olin's daughter, and he was left lamenting, and now he was left on the shore mourning and sobbing for his daughter. So children, your chapter is complete. Now you have to do the word meanings and question answers. I'm sending the question answers and word meaning in the group. You can write it from there. There are two question answers given on page 73. Read the stanza and answer the question. It was when the loud waves lashed the shore and he was left lamenting. Who was vain or useless action? What was a vain or useless action? The When the king, Lord Ullin, wanted to forgive them and wanted to help them, it was an useless action that time, because they were the daughter, the boatman, and Ulva's chieftain. All were surrounded by the waves, and they were killed. They got their watery graves. Both of them met their watery graves. They both died. B. Why was Lord Olin left lamenting? Because he could not help his child, and he was moaning and sobbing because he saw in front of his eyes that the daughter is drowning in the sea. Third exercise: ran away, fled, screaming, shrieking, sound of horses' hoof, storm, tempest, being greater in strength, prevailing, causing death, fatal. So these are the words, meaning are given, and you have to find out the words from the chapter. Okay, so I think our syllabus for English is complete. That's it for today. Thank you.